So let's continue playing with rotate and translate, and let's do some exercises with that. I'm gonna start creating a setup function because I want to do an animation. So I will do this setup and also a draw function. We always need a draw function if we want to animate something. And I begin setting the size of the screen. I will set some background color. I'm gonna make it random, but not completely random, but between 0 and 100, so it's a dark background. And I will use the same random value, not exactly the same value, but a random value for each component. So red, green, and blue. So this now, you can see it makes different colors. And let's draw a rectangle. I want to make a spinning rectangle. I will start making this, drawing this rectangle on the middle of the screen, like this. But you can see it's not drawn at the middle of the screen because what is on the middle of the screen is the top left corner of the rectangle, the 200, 200. There's a way to tell processing that you should put the middle of the rectangle there. And this is done with the rect mode center. This changes the meaning of these two first values. The X and the Y now mean the center of the rectangle. So now it's in the middle. We're gonna try to make this spin around. So we're gonna need a variable to keep track of our rotation. How much are we rotating? We begin with 0 and we can increase our rotation on each frame. And then we're gonna have to rotate here, rotate R. So our all axis and all our drawings, all the drawings we do after rotate are rotated. But you can see the funny thing is it's rotating around the top left corner of the screen. This is a thing that always happens with rotate. Things always rotate around 0, 0, the origin. That's the name for the point 0, 0. So we have to change where our origin is if we want to rotate it in the center of the rectangle. And we do this with translate. Translate, and you can type 200, 200, or better use width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. So this means now that the point 0, 0 is in the center of the screen. But we are drawing our rectangle at 200, 200, so you can see now it's gonna be spinning around the center, but the rectangle is no longer on the center. If I want to put it now in the center, I have to say use 0, 0. Use the origin and place there my rectangle. So finally, I have this rectangle spinning on the center of the screen. I should erase the old images using background. If I copy this line, it's gonna be a bit crazy because it's gonna be generating a new random color for each frame. So not very comfortable. So we better save these 3 values. I'm gonna save them in 3. I'm gonna say back R, float back G, and float back red, green, blue. So I save those values. Back R equals this thing here. This is gonna be now back R. So what I do is save a random value between 0 and 100 inside this variable. And I do the same for the other 2 variables, back R, G, and B. So now I can use here those 3 variables, back R, G, back B. This wouldn't make much sense if I would only use it here, but I want to use it here too. That's the only way I have to reuse the same random values. So now I'm erasing the screen with this color on each frame. I'm gonna remove the border of my rectangle. using no stroke. So, and now to make it look a bit nicer, I'm gonna use the smooth function so the borders look better. Much better now. So there we have our rectangle spinning on the center of the screen. If I change this amount here, that's how fast the rectangle is spinning. On each frame I'm increasing 0.01 radians the rotation. So if I type 0.05, that's gonna rotate faster. If I type 0.1, then it's quite fast. Or you can make it very small, 0.001. And well, now you cannot even see it. I think I went too far. Well, you can see it very, very slowly. Now it's starting to rotate. Well, I think it's not so fun to watch. So now it's a very slow speed. Let's bring it back to some speed, like 0.05. Okay. Remember the effect we did with the fade out? What if we apply this here? For that, we needed to replace our background call with two lines. First, we set a fill color, so we don't do background anymore. Background erases the whole screen. Fill just sets the color for our next rectangle or any other closed shape like circle. So this is our fill, and we have to add here some alpha value or opacity value. Remember the default is 255, which is full opacity. If I type 50 here, the opacity is lower. And now I have to remember to draw a rectangle. And in past episodes we used here 0, 0, width and height. And now our animation is gone. What happened? Well, we are setting here this fill color, but we are not setting any different fill color for our next rectangle. So now we always paint with the same background color. So we should say here which color do we want for a rotating rectangle. I'm gonna use white. So what's going on here? You can see the fade out effect is working on this corner here, but not on the rest. And this is because we are using our rect mode center. Let me show it here on this drawing. If this is our screen, and we use rect 0,0 width and height. Normally, this would mean 0, 0 is this point here, and then width is the width of the screen, height is the height of the screen. So this would work. When we use rect mode center must be written in uppercase, center. That means that the center of this red rectangle actually is now here, the center, not the corner. So our rectangle is being drawn here. And this is because our fade out effect is working only in this part, but not on this part here. So we can fix this by moving this rectangle down and right to the middle of the screen. So we just have to change these values here to width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. And this should fix it. Now we have this nice spinning rectangle with our fade out effect. Finally, let's do one last touch to this experiment. We are using here translate and always bringing it to the middle of the screen. We are saying that the origin of coordinates, the x and y axis, are centered here. But we could make it move to where the mouse is. So we can replace this width divided by 2 here by mouse x, and this value here by mouse y. So now it's not fixed at the center of the screen, but it's following the mouse. So now I can move the mouse and the rectangle is spinning and is spinning around the mouse. So go out and try adding a translate call and rotate call to any of the programs we created in the past. You can add translate and any values here, and rotate also with a value here, and see how it's changing the result. Try to understand what's going on.